We're in the good year 2025. PDF files run the world's strongest government. Pieces of cardboard with monsters printed on them go for over $1,000 apparently, and the streets are telling me I'm chopped for not buying the 24 karat gold Dubai chocolate Labubu. And despite all of that chaos, there is one eternal constant in my life, and that is anime, and I have a gut feeling that that's also the same for you watching at home today. And if you know me, you know my favorite anime, my ride or die, is and probably always will be Naruto.
What the fuck? This is a One Piece channel. What are you talking about, you fucking bastard?
Okay, chill, relax. Let's take a breather. I understand. Most of what I've talked about so far on my channel has been One Piece. But, you know, listen, I'm still somewhere in Thriller Bark, trudging along as we try to find Brook and get the rest of the guys back together and move on to the next one, which I believe is Sabaody or... I think it's Sabaody. And while I've been thinking about my new baby, I've been reminiscing on my first love. And my first love, of course, was Naruto. And this is why I will never stop loving Naruto. I started watching Naruto when I was 17. Yes, 17. I was a latecomer to the show. By 17, I imagine that some of you are saying, I had actually already memorized all of the hand signs to the fireball jutsu, and I had a Sharingan tattoo, as well as Sasuke's curse mark written down on the back of my hand. I get it, okay? I was late to the show. But while some of you may have been doing all of those things, I was having my brain chemistry permanently altered by the Sasuke retrieval arc, okay? By that time, Naruto had well past wrapped up. Boruto, in fact, was airing, and all 5 viewers worldwide were eagerly tuning in to see the adventures of Chocho, Shikadai, and Sarada. And let's face it, nobody actually gave a fuck about any of these characters, and you were just watching it because you were hoping to see a glimpse of your favorite characters from Naruto. You were doing it, and trust me, once I finished Naruto, I was doing it too. And that's okay. But that was my entry point. And the love, it stuck the whole time. It has never changed, right? I'm 7 years down the line now. I've watched Naruto 4 times already, front to back. I've watched it with the filler. I've watched it without the filler. I've read some of the manga. I've read the light novels. I know everything about Naruto, and it still sticks with me. You see, your favorite and what you think are the best aren't always the same thing. I think the best anime that I've ever watched is Code Geass. I love Code Geass. I genuinely do. Does it give me the same visceral emotions as Naruto? No. But do I think it's the best thing that I've ever watched in terms of anime? Yeah. The emotions it made me feel, the thoughts that it provoked out of me, it genuinely is a masterpiece in my head. But Naruto, on the other hand, I can acknowledge that some parts of it are kind of shit. But it just lives rent-free in my soul, okay? It's not logical, it's emotional, it's nostalgia. And that's kind of the crux of this video, nostalgia. It's loving the show regardless of its 500 plus episode runtime and almost, I believe it's over 40% filler rate, right? The almost harassment level amounts of filler, okay? We're talking, you get 100 episodes in to part 1 Naruto, and then suddenly you're slapped with a 50 episode filler run, right? The only reason it doesn't go straight into Shippuden is because at the time they were releasing it weekly, right? So the manga would come out and then the episode would come out, and you get 50 episodes of fucking filler followed by one, I kid you not, 1 episode of canon Naruto part 1, and then you go into Shippuden. That could not run in 2025, okay? They would never do that in 2025, but I love it. I love that. I love that fact about old anime. I genuinely do. I think it's charming, right? I still hear Shikamaru's revenge speech in my head sometimes. I still feel goosebumps when Rock Lee drops those weights. Okay, you see it on Twitter sometimes, and I still watch it. I really do. All right, it might be the most watched anime meme of all time, but I still watch it every single time. And I still get flashbacks whenever I see a swing set alone in the rain. Are they good flashbacks? No, okay, it's the most overused thing in all of anime, but I could give less of a fuck. So nostalgia. For some people, the anime that might give you that is One Piece, right? You may have started watching it when it came out, and so it's still coming out now, and you still love it because of nostalgia. You might go back to old arcs and just watch them back fondly in nostalgia. For others, it may be Dragon Ball, and you may be, watching through Daima, for example, and just thinking back to when you first watched the original Dragon Ball. And for the unfortunate younger amongst us, it may actually be My Hero Academia, right? And you just might be I don't even want to say things because I'm going to say slurs, okay? But regardless, nostalgia gets all of us, right? And that's why anime fans are feral online, okay? There's no composure, absolutely none online. It doesn't matter if your favorite has better writing or better choreography or better animation, because nostalgia has its sweaty hands with a vice grip around your fucking balls, and it's never letting go. At least that's how it seems when you go online. And you know what? Genuinely, I think that's okay. It's what makes media and anime special. What you love and what you genuinely enjoy and look back fondly on is going to be completely different to what someone else may look back fondly on. For me, that's going to be Naruto, even though it was one of the later animes that I watched, right? The first anime that I ever watched and ever fell in love with technically was Pokemon. And that's when in Gen 3, Gen 4 came out because I joined in at the tail end of Gen 3, and then I watched every single episode of Gen 4, and I would go on YouTube and watch multiple parts of it on YouTube, and then it would be like a little small corner of it, and then there would be like kind of random patterns on the sides, and then eventually that got taken down, and you had to find websites and all sorts of stuff, right? Just to watch Pokemon Gen 4. Is it peak? Yes, but would other people do that? Probably not, right? The first real anime that I kind of got involved with or started to watch was, I believe, Charlotte, and then Terror and Resonance, and Sword Art Online and things like that. So I was from that era of anime. I don't look too nostalgically back on those, but what really holds my heart is Naruto. It's the first really long anime that I ever watched, and that's why I look back on it so nostalgic. The openings, I still listen to them, okay? I still think, genuinely, that Naruto has some of the best openings in all of anime. Nothing will ever change my mind on that. And, nostalgia has a very, very interesting effect on your mind in that it makes you relive those moments. And, your teenage years, they're full of angst and really high highs and really low lows. And so when you combine nostalgia in the form of anime with something from those specific times, it can create really, really vivid emotions. And I suppose that's another reason why I look back so nostalgically on Naruto. It's a time capsule, it's an emotional time capsule, and I genuinely think that's beautiful. So whatever it may be for you, I'm just happy that you have something like that. And I'm really happy that I do. But, objectively, is Naruto still good in 2025? Sure. Look, I've already said on this channel, I like older animation. Okay, you can look back on my East Blue Saga review, or even my first video where I talk about just watching One Piece now. It's rough around the edges, but it's got charm, right? The frames where a Naruto doesn't look quite good, or Naruto versus Pain, and Pain's whole face gets disfigured. It's charming. There's something to it that I just really enjoy, and it's not clean, and I like that, right? And honestly, as far as hero's journey goes, Naruto is a pretty good one. Like, objectively, I actually think it's a pretty decent portrayal of the hero's journey. Naruto himself is quite a lovable MC. He's a pretty good MC, and he's one that you actually get behind. Yeah, he's kind of annoying sometimes because he makes sometimes the wrong decisions, and you can see him making the wrong decisions, but it kind of makes sense, right? When you think about Naruto, a lot of the reasons why the characters are the way they are make sense. He's got heart, right? Sasuke, for example, he's actually one of my favorite characters in my heart of hearts, right? In my mind, he's the worst character in anime, right? Just straight up, he's such a bitch. He's genuinely insufferable. When people hear that I like Sasuke, they kind of throw up projectile in my face. And that, you know what? I just take it. I understand, because Sasuke is objectively kind of a shitty guy, but I just really like him because when I first watched the show, like I say, when we're looking back with our nostalgia goggles, I was kind of an edgy teenager, and Sasuke is an edgy teenager, for better or for worse. Part 1, pacing, hey, talking about One Piece, Part 1 pacing, pretty damn tight. If we ignore the 50-odd episode filler arc at the end, right? But, who's to say you have to watch it? The show's already out. You just skip it, and Part 1 pacing, pretty fucking good. I mean, you go straight into that Zabazar arc, right? And then the tuning exams come out. I kid you not, the tuning exams, genuinely one of the best arcs in all of anime. Or, okay, you know what? I take that back. Maybe not one of the best, but one of the most iconic arcs in all of anime. Sasuke Retrieval arc, one of my favorite arcs in all of anime. Shippuden is Shippuden. It's kind of a wild ride. It's got really, really high highs, I think, in terms of its peaks. We're thinking Kakashi versus Obito. We're thinking, like I mentioned earlier, Shikamaru's Revenge. Absolute peak. 5 Kage Summit. Sasuke showing up, aura farming for no fucking reason, literally no reason. But it has some very boring lows. Say it with me. The Fourth Great Ninja War. I know, it drags on. It's really, really long, but the payoff at the end is just, it's kind of juicy, you know. I really struggle to put into words why I like the Fourth Great Ninja War, and it's because I don't think I actually like the Fourth Great Ninja War. It ends really shittily, but it really does warm my heart watching Naruto interact with his father and things like that. It's really nice. And sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes what you want is just something nice and something that's going to make you feel good on the inside. So, should you watch it? If you grew up with it, or if you grew up around people who did watch it, like me, yeah, watch it. Hell, watch it again. It's an iconic piece of anime history. I mean, you can genuinely see where new age anime has drawn inspiration from Naruto. Things like, think of Jujutsu Kaisen now. When you see that tight hand-to-hand combat and that choreography, you can see that in Naruto, even as early as part 1, with things like the wielding of the hand signs, and then later on, as the animation gets better, their general just hand-to-hand combat is really quite advanced. Like you can see where they're trying to draw lines from, and it's really, really cool. And I think that makes for a really important piece of anime history that I think is worth watching. And what if you're new to anime? Watch it anyway, because it's still better than that fucking several kinds of arse, okay? It's just genuinely terrible, and you shouldn't watch it. I'm sorry if you like My Hero Academia. Listen, I watched 5 seasons of it. It just let me down. Hell, it's my first anime heartbreak. Yes, Naruto has its issues, right? The female characters are written shit, and Jiraiya, everyone loves him for some reason, because he's actually just your pervy uncle, right? That's weird. The fact that they put a pervy uncle into the show in the first place is weird. It didn't age like fine wine, it aged like milk. But you know, the pain arc and everything that you go through with the character makes you feel a certain way about him. And I suppose that's why you love him, because regardless of the problematic side, the idea of what Jiraiya is and how important he is to the story, and or not so much the story, but more so the characters within the story, it makes you want to fall in love with him. And I suppose that he represents kind of Naruto as a concept as a whole, right? Despite these issues, we still love the show. And I know you have a show like this too. I'm sure there is a show that holds its place in your heart in the exact same way that Naruto does for mine. It may be One Piece, it may be Bleach, it may be Dragon Ball, it may be anything, right? I know some people for whom it's Inuyasha. I say some people, I meant one person. Regardless, what's yours? Tell me, what's your nostalgic anime of choice? What do you look past all of the shit for? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're down there, hit that subscribe button to help me push this video to more and more people so we can all have this discussion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I try to reply to every single comment. Peace and love to all of you, and I'll see you soon.